Black Mirror is a show that focuses on the impact that current and future technologies can have on society, revealing the underlying issues within that society. The Season 3 episode Nosedive does exactly that. Throughout the episode, we follow Lacey in a world where everyone is ranked based on how they interact with others. Lacey stands at a 4.2 but really wants to obtain a 4.5 to achieve the lifestyle that she dreams of. Lacey is working to increase her score, but she has one bad day and ends up decreasing her score drastically, until she loses her grip on reality and is put in a prison at the very end of the episode. The prison scenes, mise-en-scene, camera shots, and costumes all work together to forward the theme of the episode, which is that social media restricts the expression of the individual. The mise-en-scene of this scene is very dull. There's not a lot of background, as it is a prison. Everything is very drab, which can be starkly compared to the rest of the episode. This is established from the get-go, and it really doesn't change. The scene remains the same, with the concrete wall behind both people and the rest of the prison being empty. This emphasizes the fact that social media systems keep most people in check, as they're afraid to do anything out of the norm. No one is willing to truly express themselves, as soon as they do, they are essentially removed from society, and all of their rights are stripped away. This scene's mise-en-scene helps to portray how broken the rest of society is, that only the people that are put in prison are truly able to express themselves freely. The camera shots of this scene help the audience to visualize Lacey going from an uptight, emotionally repressed individual to someone who is willing to scream at a person that she just met. The scene starts with Lacey having been opened to the world around her as she marvels at the dust falling from the ceiling. Her wonderment is drawn back as she notices the man sitting in the cell next to her. She immediately tries to use the rating app as a social crutch, but that has been ripped away from her. At this realization, the shot shows a close-up of her face, which emphasizes her confusion and then the realization. After this, Lacey's body is nearly fully exposed with a medium-long shot. This is meant to represent how exposed Lacey feels without the use of a social crutch. Lacey's never been able to truly express herself, and without the filter that the app enforced, Lacey is somewhat lost. That is why so much of her body is exposed in this shot, as it reflects her demeanor about the situation. As the scene progresses, less of her body is shown, which tells the audience that she's more comfortable with where she is now and how she can act. Lacey's costume is contrasted with the man's costume in this scene. Lacey's costume is exposing to her. Most of her upper body is exposed, and she's dirty. Lacey was forcibly removed from her safety net, which was the rating system and social media construct. And at the start of the prison scene, she is completely willing to go back to the oppressive society. In fact, she wishes she could, attacking the man for commenting on her presence. This can be contrasted sharply with the man's costume, which is a neat and organized suit. He looks completely comfortable in the prison, and he is comfortable with the freedom that he has in the prison. He seems like he would be uncomfortable in the free world. These costumes are very visible at the start of the scene with the medium-long shots, but as the scene progresses and the shots move closer, the costumes are not clearly seen. This is meant to dissolve the backstory between both characters and focus solely on their newfound freedom in prison. Both parties have been completely detached from the oppressive society that the rating app has created. I would also like to point out the very last collection of shots in this scene. This is when Lacey and the man are yelling at each other and their faces are flipping back and forth on close-up shot. With this shot, both characters' faces almost blend together. This symbolizes how they are united in their deviance from the society governed by social media. It also shows how they have become like-minded, as illustrated by the blending of faces. This shot is meant to show Lacey's full development as she's ready to leave behind the world of social media and experience true freedom in prison. Lacey has realized that the oppression that social media has held over her for her entire life, and she is ready to leave it behind. The mise-en-scene, camera shots, and costumes of the prison scene all help to portray the idea that the characters in prison are freer than they were in the regular world. The public world is so oppressed by the rating app and social media that they are unable to express any negative emotion for the fear of being removed from that society. The irony is that when Lacey is locked up in a cement cell, she is able to be the most free and have the most expression than at any other point in the show. This really helps to illustrate the point that social media limits the expression of the individual.